I should have put on my sunglasses too.
Nope.
All right.
What's good? What's
Yo,
good?
Miggy
Oh
was good.
gosh.
The,
Give him.
the horn.
I'm a little scared because last time Miguel was here, he wasn't
Miggy,
feeling
he wanted to
me.
snatch your Brooklyn card
Yeah, he did, but um,
because you don't know Biggie.
I do. I do know him, but we're not getting. That's not the topic today. We're not talking about that at all today. We're on to something else. Okay.
All right.
All
We're
right.
not doing hip hop.
We're not doing hip hop. And I know a lot of you are probably like, why does she have sunglasses on? Because apparently my facial expressions, right? Everybody's like talking about it. So I put on the shades to prevent the.
They can still see it through the glasses.
They can't.
Yeah, Mickey said he cool. You cool with him?
Okay, okay. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure nobody's trying to take my Brooklyn card from me. So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, Arlene in the building.
What up, Arlene?
Marshall in the building.
Happy Sabbath, happy Sabbath for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that you guys had a great week. What up, Jessica?
Jessica Fowler in the building.
Good to see you, darling. Well, not, I can't see you, but good to see your name pop up in the chats
Yep.
comment section. This is awesome. The shades cannot hide your expression when Jamie starts rapping.
Exactly. Or if
I
I
think it
say
can. Look, look, look. If I do
nope,
this, look, I'm looking up. Y'all
nope,
can't see my eyes. You can't see what I'm saying. What my face looks like.
help us, Lord. Your face, you can still see it. Even when I say something crazy, we still gonna see your facial expressions.
No, you
Watch what's
won't.
gonna happen. As soon as I say something matter of fact, not crazy. As soon as I say something profound, groundbreaking, revolutionary, your face begins to show. Dorian Stewart, Wagwan.
What up, Dorian? I'm not sure what that is, but okay.
See, there you go. Y'all saw the face, right?
No, they didn't see the face. They heard what I said, and you were just assuming that my face that I'm making a face, but I'm not making a face. I'm looking just fine.
The hand motion and everything that's going on to all of this.
I talk with my hands.
Talk with your hands. So what are we talking about today?
Well, let's just give an intro. Like, how's everyone doing? How's your week? I'm gonna take the shades off now, guys. But best believe, as soon as Jamie starts rapping or he starts saying something that's a little bit crazy to me, the shades are gonna come on.
And you know why? You know why you did the shades?
Why?
Because you throwing shade. That's why you did that. You got the shades. You thought you methodically planned this out. Excuse me. You gave me the bicycle horn. No, do not give me the bicycle horn. I'm in control of the audio.
Oh.
You went and got shades because you
me.
trying to throw shade. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong.
I'm not trying to throw shade.
See, Dorian is on your side today.
That's why I love when I see her name on pop up here. I'm just like, yo, that's my girl.
I'm gonna
I
call
got
her.
Golds and I got Dorian.
I'ma
Everybody and I
call-
got Sarah. Everybody else, I don't know. Y'all a little shady to me.
I'm gonna call her Sister Stewart from now.
Sister Stewart. No, Cindy. We're gonna still give you horns.
Cindy, OGK, only God knows. Throwback.
Give Cindy the horns. I'm not sure why you have to say bars for Cindy. Like, why
Cindy
is that
here,
your?
Cindy want to hear the bars. She said you look cute, Carlene.
Thank you, Cindy.
Throwing shade.
I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to prevent Carlene's face from becoming a thing. And I just want to stop it, like let it not be a thing. I just want to have us focus on other things, just not on my face. That's it.
All right. I believe you.
Okay. So I'm about to oh, Miguel, you knew UGK. OGK too?
Miguel
Yo.
from Brooklyn.
I know, but I don't know why I don't know him.
You know him.
I don't know him.
You know him.
Miguel, what church did you used to go to? That's usually like I'm going to take the glasses off now, guys.
You got to put the shade to the side.
Yeah, I'm going to, best believe, I'm going to pick it up real quick as soon as you start saying some stuff.
It's profound, groundbreaking, revolutionary, mind-blowing. Shade.
Anyway, how was your week, guys?
You asked me. Okay, Miguel's gonna answer. See that? Yeah, I like that. I got a Jamie face.
It was hilarious. Jamie's face. Yo, you went to New Dimension and Brooklyn Faith?
Exactly. You know Miguel. I think he's definitely younger than us. He's definitely younger than us.
Huh.
But you know
New
Miguel.
Dimension. Okay, Miguel.
No, Miggy. Miggy's that dude. Knicks.
Okay.
I should have worn my Knicks hat today. Knicks. Oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I mean, I know that they're doing a whole lot better than they've ever been in our lifetime.
Like lifetime.
Yeah, think about it. The last time Knicks were great was when they had Patrick Ewing on the team. Listen, I'm no basketball connoisseur of anything, but what I'm trying to say is I feel for Jamie every year, right? Because he has these grand hopes, or had these grand hopes, that Knicks would somehow be the team that would go to the playoffs, and he's investing all this time, and I can't. So, I mean, they're looking better now. I can't front. They're looking real good. But let's be honest. When was the last time the Knicks won a championship?
All right, it's been a while since they won a championship.
No. When was the last time they won a championship?
1972. But there are other teams in the league that have not won a championship in a long time.
That's not even, as I said, our lifetime. The Knicks have never won a championship. So all I'm trying to say is, I understand Knicks, whatever. But at the same time, I think the reality is they're great, but I don't see them going to the championship.
Yo, the hate is real. The hate is so real. So you said since Patrick Ewing, you just jumped over the Carmelo Anthony years. You jumped over.
I'm not saying
we've been
Carmelo Anthony. I'm not saying those guys did not try to dig the Knicks out of that hole. However, it wasn't good enough, right? It wasn't good enough. They hired that dude where we thought the general manager, what was his name?
We had a bad slide with Phil Jackson.
Right? With his triangle. That was great for Lakers, right? But it was not good enough for the Knicks. The Knicks were confused. They didn't have a rhythm. They didn't know what they were doing. Listen, guys, don't come after me. All I'm saying, from someone looking from the outside, and that I'm not really into basketball like that.
That's why you can't hate on them.
I'm not hating on them. It's just the reality of it's just the reality of the situation. You put it on the shade. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. I'm not saying I'm not Team Knicks. I'm not saying that, guys. All I'm saying is they never won a championship. I'm praying that with the people that they have now, that they have a closer chance of becoming that team. Right now, it seems like they still working it out.
There are other teams that haven't won a championship.
That's very true, but Knicks is the one that we root for, right? That's the team. That's the home team. No?
Can we change the topic, please?
No. Okay. All right. Wait.
Carlene throwing shade. Did you see what Mike? Big up to my boy Mike Gregg. He's not gonna hate on the
What
Knicks.
did he say? He says, "I wish I knew that. Obviously, when my wife is throwing me shade, I need to get her shade." Our wives
Mike,
don't throw shade.
They throw shade.
We don't throw shade, Mike. For real. Someone said mercy. Nah, Melo had the garden rocking.
Facts. Horns for that. Give him some horns for that.
Just keep on the shades. Hey, Marissa. I will always be, me too. I'm team New York team all day, every day, especially living in Texas where they are anti anything other than Texas team. Like, I root for all things New York.
You should go get the Knicks hat and wear it in this episode.
Where is it?
In the closet.
Maybe I'll think about it. It might mess up my outfit though.
Nah, Knicks hat look good on everything.
Knicks fans are loyal, I must say. Theo, Andre, and Jamie are delusional. Oh, snap.
Arlene, go kick rocks.
Allen Houston, Spreewell.
Facts.
I don't know who those people are, but that's good to know. Can you feel the heat down in your soul? Oh, we got a
Look at
Miami
that.
Heat.
Marissa, Miami Heats.
Carlene, Jamie's a faithful husband because he's learned for better or worse with the Knicks.
That's right.
Okay.
I feel good. I feel good about this team, y'all.
I just love you, but getting the cis Calisar right now. I know. I'm back, y'all. I'm back.
Right.
Question: what was the better in life? See, but anyway.
Camille.
Oh, you see, I mean,
so y'all see, this is a perfect biblical example, right? People is like this. When you doing bad, that's when people know you. Then when you start doing good, they start talking about your past. They start talking about what you didn't do, what you couldn't do, and how many times you failed. Now when you're doing well, it's almost like they want you to go back to that. They like you when you down. They don't like you when you up. But now we are up. And y'all got to see the spiritual component in that, family. Family, people gonna like you when you're down. They're gonna talk about you when you're down. As soon as you start doing better, that's when they're gonna start bringing up, oh, you was like this, you was that, you was this. But you know what you need to do? Go to Walgreens, go to CVS, wherever it is, and buy a thank you card. Buy a thank you card for them. And when you see them, give them the thank you card and say, thank you for hating on me. Thank you for dissing me because I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. I appreciate you. I appreciate the hate because it only made me stronger. God gives his most toughest trials to his strongest shoulders, to his strongest soldiers. They carried on their shoulders. And the Knicks have carried that. And look where we at right now. 4th place in the East, baby. Ain't nobody taking that from us because we worked hard for it. Randall, Barrett, quickly. Ain't nobody stopping Obi Toppin because it's popping. And we locking in. Knicks tape, baby. It's for all my Knicks fans out there.
Okay.
So how that timer was perfect.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm not sure what that was.
Cynthia said, I'm doing a run.
No, it sounds like you're about to do a run. I'm not sure what that was. What up, Saba? Happy Sabbath. I'm not sure what that was. But yeah. Not the thank you for hating on me speech. I cannot, girl. That's why the shades are on. Thank you, hater. Card should be a thing. Oh, snaps. My president of Wakanda is here. So when the Knicks get that L, can we play this back or not?
Camilla, did you not just hear what I said? I'm going to buy you a thank you card.
Oh, snap.
I'm going to buy you a thank you card because you need one. You need a sympathy card. You need an in sympathy card.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad that I'm not alone. I mean, I love the Knicks. I do. I understand. I love the Knicks too.
It's all right.
That's all I'm going to say.
It's all right. All I know is this, is that the biggest story in Brooklyn right now is not the Nets. It is the New York Knicks. Stand up. Anyhow, what are we talking about today? We want to talk about the Knicks. We're going to talk about comparative analysis of the Knicks and our spiritual walk with God. How sometimes we're not always what people want us to be, but we do the best that we can be, and we keep on fighting, and we prove people wrong because the God we serve opens doors that no man can open, that he surrounds us with the people that helps us get to the place that he wants us to be. Man, I feel like I'm levitating right now. I'm floating over there. Yo, why you looking to the right with sunglasses on?
Because I'm trying to understand what's happening. But okay.
Camilla, for that, you get a bicycle horn. Matter of fact, you get the Galaka Spaniel. No, I don't like that. You get the bicycle horn. And you get a little triangle. Thank you.
She's just asking a simple question.
Can't hate on that. Yanni.
What up, Yanni? Yeah, that was a great Happy Sabbath sermon. You just kind of brought it back to the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure the folks that are listening appreciated that word from the Lord.
They do.
How many of y'all went to church today?
Oh, you mean to the actual building or to
No,
virtually?
virtually.
Maybe some people went to the building.
Yeah, I want to ask. As Jamie is asking Jesus on Nick's struggles.
I don't
Yo.
like don't on Nick's triumphs. Let's not use struggles. Let's not try to twist it. Nick's triumphs.
Let's go ahead and did y'all go to church today? I can't. I don't want.
Your shades are sapping me right now. Not zap, sapping me.
I'm sorry, but how did? Okay. I went to two churches today. Okay, virtual church.
Virtual church. Yanni did. I'm assuming virtual church.
Mm-hmm,
virtual church.
Okay.
Most people are doing the virtual thing.
Okay.
Ray Marshall, virtual church. Now, Ray, you're in the UK, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that they are probably not fully opened as yet either.
Yeah.
But okay. We did virtual church, preached today, and attended a couple services. Okay.
Hey, and that's like one of the beauties of being home is that, like Miguel, I can do the same thing too. I can preach, record my sermon, or I can preach and then I can go listen to somebody else, right? Or we have time to do the show.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Now you're able to know exactly what's going on in the different churches. Before, you would have had to wait at the end of the Sabbath when you got home or just not looked at them at all. But now it seems as though everyone has some sort of opportunity to view those church services that you probably would never, ever, ever, ever have the opportunity to go to. So yeah, that's awesome.
Look at Sharon Martin says Bedside Baptist. She got that lay ministry going.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, Sabbath rest, right?
Sabbath is what did they say? Oh, day of rest and gladness.
That's right.
Listen,
it used to, when we were going to the building, it was day of rest and sadness.
It used to be sad for you, or not sad. I wouldn't say sad, but it's just that. It's just that when you have a position in the church, Sabbath is like a day where you're not necessarily resting, but you're working.
Day of work and sadness.
Right.
Day of work and madness. Yo, Wesley Knight, what's good? Got to give Doc Knight the horns.
What up, Pastor Knight? Love the new house, y'all. Congrats, King and Queen.
Thank you. Look at this. Camilla is saying, I hope I'm saying it right. Camilla or Camila?
Camilla, I think.
But
is it Camilla? I think it's Camilla.
Sister Alexander is saying the building. Who is going to the building? For real.
That's true. Who goes to the building? Who's going to the building?
Yeah.
Church in the building is an energy drain.
Yo.
You right. Facts for that.
Yo, look, you see what's happening?
What?
Dr. Knight, Wesley Knight shows up. Right? He shows up and watches our show. And he starts commanding the conversation.
Dr. Knight is in the building.
Wait. Thank you for that word today, sir. Yo, y'all want to give Dr. Knight props? Go on his page now.
Stop it.
All right, I'm just.
That's the homie right there.
That's nothing but love. That's my man right there.
That's the homie right there.
And Stephanie.
But anyway, yeah. No one's going to church for real, and it is very exhausting.
Yeah.
But thank God we have the opportunity to make Sabbath whatever it is we want to make it. Whether we want to go to church virtually or we don't.
Yeah. As for me and my house, we are staying at the house. Let me ask you this question: when majority of people are vaccinated and things, as it seems like they're going back to normal, are you still looking forward to going to the building, or are you still going to like this new normal that we've been in for about over a year, right?
Well over a year.
A year and a half. Do you like the new normal, or do you want to go back to the old normal? Mickey, good question. I'm wondering, how can we enjoy the Sabbath and be in the building? Yeah, I think the building cramps the Sabbath, right? Like cramps the whole enjoyment part of it. Like we try to, it is but so much programming you can do. Like there's but so much events, because if like eventually you get tired of AY, eventually you get tired, and people just like trying to pull I was describing to somebody, it's like pulling the rabbit out of the hat in different ways, right? Like I'm gonna go get a purple hat today, or I'm gonna put glitter on the hat today. So that's kind of difficult. Nope, still not going back. I'm letting the building marinate before I go back. Make sure the
Yo,
vaccines
I was
really
telling
took.
Jamie, I was like, yo, praise and worship is going to be hilarious, right? Because if they're probably still doing masks in buildings, right? That praise and worship is going to be hilarious where everyone has a mask on. And the only way you'll know that people are into it is if they're raising their hands or kind of like shouting. Other than that, yo, praise and worship about to be real dry.
Yeah,
You know
look.
what I mean? It's not going to be what it was before.
So Bethany Parker says she was doing virtual church pre-pandemic. I
Dang,
hear
girl.
that.
Dang, girl, get
I
at
hear
home.
I hear that. And, like you can, and that's what's
Turn
cool.
down announcements.
You can adjust it, right? You can come on exactly for what you need. It's like a la carte. Like, all right, I don't want to be here for call to worship and all this stuff. I just want to get the music and get the word and be out. So yeah, it's like it's almost like social media for worship.
I've only got one more week of church preaching.
Yeah, Mike is going on to doing some new and some great
Wait a
things.
minute, for real?
Yeah, my brother from another
Oh my
mother
gosh! Well, congratulations.
is leaving Texas. I think Nashville, right? I think he told me he's going to
Oh
Nashville.
my gosh!
Tennessee,
Congratulations, Jamie's going to miss you.
So. Yeah, yo,
Oh my
Speeda, everybody is leaving.
I know, it's crazy. But congratulations to you and the family, Mike.
Yeah,
Greg.
we're gonna miss you, man.
Oh my gosh, Keith does the drive-in church. I'm still home with.
Cynthia not playing. She like, you go by yourself.
Yeah, I have to take care of the kids, you know.
No, but can you imagine how torture that must be having kids? Like, I mean, little kids, like putting our daughters in the car and having to sit down, and they can't leave the car. Yeah,
Nah,
I'm with
that's
you,
a hard
Cynthia.
no.
I'm with you too, Keith. Don't be like, it's cool. You can stay
Sister
home.
Russell said the Church of Christ Church across the street from my house is back full swing. Yeah, one of my coworkers, he's a minister of music to one of like the big churches, and he was just saying that they're about to be after Easter, they're about to be fully open, like 100% open, and this is a big church. And I'm like, how? And he's just like, they just gonna open. I was just like, that's rough. That's rough. But not going back to church until the kids are vaccinated. Ain't nobody going to be singing, "Be thou my virus." Oh my kids. That one gets hard. Oh my
I know, right? I wonder how like.
Oh my gosh.
I wonder how songs like "Turn to Your Neighbor" are going to work.
There is no turn to your neighbor.
Post-pandemic.
There is no turn to my neighbor. I know for me, right? Because I feel like I feel like I am a germaphobe. I do not like germs, right? I do not like this pandemic. Like, I'm like ultra. Would you say I'm like ultra protective and kind of whatever,
Yeah,
right?
it's called OCD. Here we go. And it begins.
As I was saying,
And so it begins.
as I was saying, I will. I'm in agreement because I do not like touching people. Like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to touch anyone. Just even the elbow thing. Like, I work in a school, and right now I'm the virtual teacher. I've been the virtual teacher all year, and you know the kids. I feel really bad because they want to hug you. They want to. Even though I don't have any kids in my room, when I do see the kids that I taught last year, they're like, "Mrs. Calasar," and I'm really trying to, you know, not have them hug me. One or two of them have did it so fast that I wasn't able to like block them because I'm literally like, ugh! And they're like, ugh! And I'm like, mm-mm. So every time they see me, they do the elbow. So every time I come home, guess what I'm doing with my jackets? I'm washing them because I'm like, they touched my elbow. But anyway, that's for another story, whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm very much, yeah.
Yeah. What up, Tess? Yeah, I hope we do reimagine it. More Sabbaths away from the building and reaching the community. I really enjoyed this time. And I think that's important. Like, I don't think we have to have it every week. I think it should be maybe twice a month or even once a month. And then the other 3 weeks, there's planned programs for the community.
Yep.
And then when you come together for that one Sabbath a month, it's a celebration. It's really a celebration service because that's what Sabbath is supposed to be about,
Yeah.
the celebration of salvation. But it's more like, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy 6 days. You know, it's like
Right.
real dreary.
Yeah, this regimented thing.
Right. But the issue is this, though, is that you'll probably have pastors who want to do that, but they'll get pushback from leadership
Of course.
who says, no, you have to have people in the building every week.
Because what does people in the building means?
It means more Sabbath spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Yep, y'all know that. Y'all know y'all want to go back for that Sabbath spaghetti, that lunch Sabbath spaghetti. Yo,
That's that glass of shade right here.
that Sabbath spaghetti. The kids be getting a bunch of, the poor kids. Because, like, I know in the church I grew up in, you had, like, the adult food, and it would be, like, rice and all that good stuff.
It would be
Dinner
like
rolls.
stew peas or
Yeah,
like
stew peas, rice, and some kind of meat. And the kids had to get the spaghetti with the sauce, the
And
watery, the watery sauce, and the one little slice of bread.
It's true. I would go back to church for that juice though, that church juice.
Oh yeah, they be mixing it up.
Let me tell you, that church juice right there, that joint is off the chains. I have a 3-month-old. Yep, you'll be staying home. If I had a 3-month-old, we'll be staying home. Isn't Texas fully open? No mask mandate?
It is fully open.
Yep.
It is fully open.
Yep, but the churches aren't. Well, the Adventist churches, right?
Yep.
They aren't fully opened as yet. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Texas is definitely open. You'll see people in the grocery store, in the stores, without their masks, and I literally hold my breath and run from them like they are, like they have the virus. Because I'm just like, why? Like, you are so inconsiderate. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's Texas. It's a Republican state.
What up, Kia? She's like, I'm gonna be at the house. I'm one of those watching Dr. Knight.
Thank you, Kia, for the shade. I appreciate it.
Why you hating for her? Like, that's where she's getting her food from. Listen, girl.
But I appreciate you watching Dr. Knight because he is that dude, and I watch him too. So when after I preach,
we were watching Revision today. We were definitely watching Revision
because I need a
word.
She
asked you the question. See, most teachers are allergic to germs. I don't know why that is, yo. Like, why?
Especially if you're working with the little kids. The little kids.
They're so nasty. Them little kids are nasty. You hear me? Just nasty. Sneezing without covering, or even if they're covering, it's like, achoo. And then they're going to try to touch something. They already know. My kids, every classroom I've been in, they know. You sneeze, you better get your tissue and hand sanitizer. Do not touch anything. Do not touch me. Do not come close to me.
Wasn't there a teacher that was spraying her kids with Lysol before they came in the room? I thought I saw a video like that.
I
know you getting a big trouble.
Yeah, I wouldn't spray them with Lysol because that joint, I wouldn't do that. But
I think I can spray members with it. Why don't you just leave them on for the whole show?
I think so. I think I should. I think I should.
That would make me
Arlene, you better not say I have OCD. I don't have OCD.
She's saying she's an OCD sister. Stand up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's OCD.
Stand up.
I don't know if it's OCD, but I'm just like, don't come close to me. Amen. I love from a distance. For real. Can you imagine going to church? Hey, brother. Hey, sister. Sorry.
Church folk like to hug too.
We are not doing that today. We are not hugging. We're not touching. I'm trying to remember the last. I think I know now. I've not hugged throughout this entire pandemic. I can count on my hands how many people I've hugged that do not live in my household. 2. 2 people I've hugged since this pandemic started. And then when I hugged them, I was like, ugh. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, because I know they're safe.
What about the people that like to talk close? You ever met somebody that loves a close talker, and every time you keep moving back? Yeah, man, I'm all right, man, I'm good.
Yo, that's me.
They be backing you
That's
into a
me.
corner, be like, yo, I'm great, I'm all right, I'm doing better, all right, man.
No, I literally, if anyone's talking too close to me, like you'll see me moving, and then what's happening is that they're also moving, and I'm just like, yo, they don't get it. They're not getting it.
Yeah,
Like,
they
you're too
just be
close.
coming clear, like, you want to kiss? Tampico.
Look at Miguel. He just gave the menu for Sabbath lunch: spaghetti, garlic bread, and green beans.
Yeah, especially those churches in New York. You see, this is the thing though. The churches in New York predominantly are West Indian, and them older people
What
ain't
up,
eating no
Marie?
spaghetti. They not touching that. They gonna get that to them kids because what was that meme? Black children have eaten more spaghetti than Italians.
It's true. Spaghetti is that meal.
Yo.
You want quick and in a hurry, you better, and cheap. That
Yep.
joint is so, because the box of spaghetti will be like 99 cents. If you catch a good sale, what?
Yo, that spaghetti lasts for the whole week.
Yeah, I'm tired of spaghetti. Churches were doing miracle working turning tapioca. It's a good juice.
It's Tampico. Yo,
Tampico.
let me tell you.
Yo.
Tampico needs to just change their name to Diabetes in a Bottle.
And, yeah, but that joint is mad good, yo.
Yeah,
Yo, I don't know, man.
You can't have the church mixture without pineapple juice, though. They get that can of the pineapple juice, and they pour that thing in.
My Lord. At Grand Concourse, our lunches, I miss oxtail.
What? Meat in the church?
Y'all had meat?
Mike, we gotta let Mike know what's going on. Mike Gregg, Seventh-day Adventist churches, most of them in New York, do not serve meat inside their church. Grand Concourse, now that's a whole nother level. That's a Jamaican church.
Yo, y'all had oxtail,
And
rice and peas.
nobody.
I feel like I gotta take these shades off. I feel like I've been. How in the world did you guys get meat in the church? Maybe isn't Grand Concourse like? Don't they have like a sanctuary section and then they have like a?
I think so. They have like a next door.
Because growing up, meat in the church, even if you bring a little piece of meat. I mean, we used to do it for Pathfinders. We used to have. We used to get Chinese food but that for chicken wings
but that was
and fried
on
rice.
Sunday.
But it didn't matter. Like they didn't want any chicken in the church.
Yeah, but I know like on a Sunday you could probably get on a Saturday.
Yo, you best believe that fry pat is coming out. And then on a good day, you got that dinner roast.
Yo, then when citrus spare ribs came out, every week.
Oh Lord. Miguel, okay. Exactly, Mina Juan, church them go to. Some of the married men love hug up too much. Listen, girl. Listen.
She said the married men.
Gross.
Do they do the pelvic thrust too? Like they come in? Or is it like this? Because, you know, you're not supposed to hug a woman in church. You're supposed to be like, yo, what up, Sister John?
Right. It's supposed to be a side hug.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
it's never used to be. It's not supposed to be no front hug.
Right.
If you're hugging me from the front like that, actually, I don't. Like, I make sure I go in like this.
Ladies, when he comes in.
I position my body to be like that, opposed to like front. Nope, we're not doing no front hug. You're about to get a back hug.
When he comes in for the front hug, just go like this, and then boom, knock him in his head. He'll be good after that. Just go, hey, chin rocking. He will never do it again.
Okay, Pastor.
Defend yourself.
Oh yeah, I know we all over the place. I'm a germaphobe, man. I hated shaking hands after church. Oh, sanitize.
I had
don't
to.
Understand. I got it. We'll put vaccines in the communion wine. Yo, you do that, you gonna get mad money.
Squeezing Moderna in there. Get that. Make sure she get this cup. That's what you gonna say. Yo.
No, make sure he gets this cup.
Yo, Brother John. Make sure this cup go to her and that whole family.
Be like this. Oh my gosh, Mike Gregg is like, close talkers make me lose my religion. For real, like, why are you so close? It's like, and oh my gosh, have you guys ever had someone talk to you and they like, there's like a whole bunch of spit in their, my gosh, there's like a whole bunch of spit in their mouth and you kind of see the spit coming on the side of their mouth.
What kind of people you know like that?
You know you've been in contact with people like that before, and they're talking, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like you just want, I need a moment.
You got some interesting people in your circle.
I didn't say they were in my circle. I'm just saying that they're in church.
Oh, not my church. They don't come to my church.
They come to your church.
Best believe. Yep. Gary, I didn't know that. All Haitian churches in Miami serve meat.
What?
Miracle City serves meat.
Yo, it's a new church. It's a new day for churches in that way. Because back growing up,
it is. Soon we gonna start having people drinking rosé. Moet.
Oh snap! They snuck the meat in through the back door.
Yo, no lie. I remember when I was in Chicago at a particular church, and they had Pepsi in the church, and the ladies had it underneath their chair. Like when they saw me coming, they put it underneath the chair. I'm like, I don't care if you drink Pepsi. Wow. That's no big thing.
That's to me. Right. You can bring sulfate. You can even bring fish to church.
Exactly, Horain. Horain from Brooklyn. I think Horain went to Horain, did you put it in the chat? Did you go to Horeb or Hebron? Carlene almost vomited. Pelvic thrust.
Oh, listen to me. So when I remember being in New York, you know, like how back in the day they used to, some men, perverts, I won't even call them men, I would call them perverts. They would come on this, it is very strong because they're nasty, they're disgusting. And so,
tell us how you really feel.
And so, stop with the commentary. And so they would, you know, sometimes come in, especially when the train is packed, and like while you're standing up, they'll try to, I've heard of like women being fondled and they're like, you know, right behind them and feeling up on them. Listen, when I remember riding the trains, my back will be in a position where nobody's behind me. In that sense, like if you're close to me, you're gonna feel my elbow in your chest or wherever it is that you're trying to touch. Like, oh, sorry guys, I'm having a moment.
Yeah.
Because it's just disgusting, right? That's just disgusting. But anyway, yeah. It's unfortunate. I don't think we've been to a Grand Concourse. You've preached, and we've not tasted that Grand Concourse meal before. But that's cool.
They probably didn't serve meat that Sabbath we came, or we probably were like, we got to be out right after we preach.
Exactly. Rush hour was their prime time. They were like, yes, because they know that a whole bunch of people trying to fit in and moving in the trains, and I'm just like, this is disgusting.
Okay, Horain. He went to the Church of the Oranges in Jersey. That's right. We always met when we did Praise Vision events.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Church of the Oranges. Yeah, you weren't getting no meat in there.
No, that was a West Indian church, right? I think you preached there once for Greg Nelson.
Was that Church of Oranges? I don't think that was Church of Oranges. I know their old pastor used to be Kennedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Church of the Oranges was in that church?
Not the one that Greg Nelson was. I forgot the name of the one Greg Nelson was at.
Okay. But anyway, guys, this wasn't even the topic that we wanted to talk to you guys about today.
Gary said we didn't stay long enough. So Grand Concourse, they probably had a secret menu.
Gary, I'm giving you stank face.
They had the regular menu, and then they had the secret menu, which was the oxtail with gravy and peas and rice and probably all the other good stuff.
You could have put it in a box for us.
It's Gary. Good. I wonder if Gary was there that Sabbath.
He was.
Oh, snap. Gary, we have to question our friendship now.
Anyway, Gary. I'm just messing. So one of the things, I actually saw it today, and it kind of really piqued my interest in terms of like how sometimes we view being what's the word that I'm looking for, like when you've being successful, like when you've reached a certain point in your success, right? And you, of course, you start making money, that sometimes you feel as though you sometimes feel like you're not deserving of whatever.
The finer things in life.
Right. Like, you know, for Black people, for some people, I won't just limit it to Black people. I know that, I will limit it to Black people, but you know, when you've been in a struggle, right? You growing up, you struggled financially. Your parents struggled, like you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and you weren't accustomed to the finer things in life. That sometimes when you do have an opportunity to have the finer things in life, that we operate out of I don't deserve to treat myself. I don't deserve to um, to buy this for myself, right? This expensive thing, for myself. And so I just wanted to get like your thoughts on it. Like, what do you think about, like when you do get to a place where you're not necessarily struggling, no, not struggling, where you get to a place where you're not struggling as you were when you were growing up, or even as a teenager, 20-year-old in your early 20s, but then when you get a little bit older, you get successful, whatever it is. Why do you think at times we feel that we are not deserving of the finer things in life?
I don't know. I really can't. I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, so I'll probably just try to speak for myself. I think it's just a matter of, I know for me, um,
Yes, I like Tess, what Tess said. She said transition from survival to thriving, right? What does that look like?
yeah, you just like cut me
Sorry,
off
I'm
with
so
Tess.
sorry.
It's just like you just like, all right, whatever. I like what Tess said. You take it too long to answer this question, so I'm gonna just move on. No,
My
but I'm glad.
bad.
I'm actually glad you did that because I don't really have an answer. I think
Thanks.
I think for me it's just like I know I know my place. Like I feel like I grew up and looking at throughout my life and probably looking at where my finances are now, I know what spaces I belong in and which spaces I'm not in. Like Jay-Z and Nas just dropped this song, Sorry Not Sorry. And I'm watching the video, I'm listening to the song, and they're just like next level capitalists, right? They're just like killing it. And I know that as much as I would probably, I don't even know if I want to be where they are, but I just know my lane. Like my lane is not where I can't shop what they shop. I can't drive what they drive. I can't do what they do. Only thing I can do is what I can in my own space. So it's not. I don't think it's a matter of I don't feel like I deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of I'm a realist in saying that I can't have that.
Hmm. But why do you say you can't have it?
Because I'm broke. Well, and then broke is relative, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're
So
saying that you're broke. According to whose standards? I guess you're saying you don't got no, so you don't have a certain amount of money in the bank. Like, what do you consider broke?
no, so broke is relative. So I'm gonna say I'm broke if I stand next to Jay Z and Nas. If I stand next to Jay Z and Nas, if they ever got a chance to look at my bank account,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be like, ha 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 ha, ha. Something
Right.
like
We
that.
make that in like a minute,
Right.
or two.
Yeah, with my eyes closed. They make that while they sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just think that I just live within my realms, right? Like
Your
that's where
needs.
I am, where my means, and this is what I can do, even though I like to do more. And I think also too, like for somebody like a Jay Z, and I think we had this conversation this week, for him to get to where he is right now, he had to cut a lot of people off. He had to, I'm sure, remove himself from certain situations. And it's kind of like, yo, in order to climb this ladder, I have to step on or step over some people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes it requires a certain personality to become that successful, or quote unquote that successful, to
Mm-hmm.
be at that space or to get there. Like you got to learn how to navigate and play the game.
But what if, okay, let's say you got there,
Yeah.
right? Let's say you got there, and you feel now like you don't deserve to go into places, or no, 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 no. Because I think the deserving piece comes in when you're climbing that ladder and other people around you are not where you are. So now you feel like you can't necessarily go and buy that thing, or you can't necessarily go and do that thing, because you realize that you feel bad because, one, like you only said, like you feel like there's always like a fear that you're going to lose it and you're going to go back to struggling. But there's also that, I don't feel like I'm deserving of this thing because of who's around me, right? And just because I just haven't grown up with it. So
Yeah. So I think there are like two types of people, right? And I remember in high school, like, well, not even, let me not use the high school situation, but I think there's just always two types of people. There's one type of person who buys whatever they want and they don't really care about how they're viewed or what other people say. And then I think there's other people who don't buy what they want because they care about what other people say, or that sometimes they don't want to stand out. Right? So it's like, okay, I got all my friends are with me. Within the same we're all within living within the same means, right? Come from the same neighborhood. We in high school, and I want to get like the most expensive pair of Jordans. There's some people who would probably say, "No, I'm not going to get that because I know once I go back to my peoples, they're gonna be looking at me funny. They're gonna be looking at me strange.
Oh, you like, think that you're better?
You think you better? Why you spent all? Why you dumb? Why you spent so much money on sneakers like that?" And so there are people that will buy according to what other people may say about them. And then there's those people who don't care what other people say. It's because I like this, I want this, I'm gonna do it. And whether or not you can accept that and be my friend, then that's cool. But then also too, it's like, you start dressing, and I'm always going to use this illustration, like if you start dressing and start wearing different things, there's also that possibility that your circle may change as well. Like you're in a different circle, you're in a different group, and then you start ostracizing people. So I think some people who really care about friendships and relationships, that sometimes they sacrifice maybe some things of themselves because they value that more than things. And then there's some people who just like, yo, in order for me to keep climbing to the top, I'm willing to cut certain people and certain things off just to get there.
Right. He's always, Miguel said, I don't really care what people say. I don't really care what them would do.
Exactly.
That's true. She says, my previous feelings of unworthiness of success came from accepting someone's limiting beliefs about who I am. Once I recognized and rejected that, my perspective completely changed. I treat myself, but I understand my possessions don't determine who I am. Boom, bam.
Horns.
There's that test. Like, that's where it's at right now. I think the part of the unworthiness of success, right? Even though you put in the work, even though you put in the time, you still don't feel worthy enough. So you walk into spaces not feeling worthy, or that confidence. You don't have that confidence when you walk into that store. So I got Tiffany. Tiffany posted this video on her Instagram story, and it was this dude. I forgot his name, but he was talking about how when he goes into a store, when he goes into a car dealership, or even it could be a clothing store, car dealership, or even like an open house looking for a house. He said he doesn't walk in there like, hey, like when the person in the store, hey, might I help you? You're like, yeah, I'm just here looking. He's like, no, he walks around with this confidence, almost like I belong here. I remember in New York when Jamie and I, even before we got married, we used to, of course, love to go to Manhattan to shop. And those very expensive stores I would not go into. There was one experience that we had together. I think we were dating. Went into this really nice, expensive store. I don't remember where it was, but it was a men's clothing store. And the minute we walked in there, the salesperson made us feel like we didn't belong. He was following us around. He wouldn't even help us. It was almost like he didn't treat us like we were customers that would be able to afford what was in there. And at the time, we could very well afford what was in there. And we walked out of the store. It's like two things. We were just like, you know what, to spite him, we should go ahead and purchase something super expensive, whatever it is in the store. And then we were just like, you know what, we don't have nothing to prove to him, right? More than likely, he probably can't afford what's inside of the store that he's working for. And so we just decided to walk out. But especially with Black people, when you walk into a particular store, a high-end store, you feel like you don't belong there, right? Because it feels as though the way you dress, the way that you look, automatically they discount and say, yeah, you can't afford this. You're probably here to steal. You're probably here to do anything other than purchase. And when you do purchase, they're like, oh my gosh, like, they start treating you differently the moment that card is swiped and it goes through, it's like, yeah, we're buddies now.
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes, you get into that. I'm gonna rage buy, like just to prove you wrong. I'm gonna spend. Give me this, give me that, and then you almost rationalize and like, man, I'm not gonna. I don't have nothing to prove to that person, But like, so this is what happens to me, especially. That's why I like sometimes dressing in jeans and my Jordans or a sweater and walking into like menswear places, because they oftentimes they judge you by the way you dress, especially in those menswear stores. And then when I start opening my mouth and start talking about this detail and that detail, that's when they be all up on me, like, oh yeah, da, da, da. It's almost like they immediately judge you by how you dress, and I think they also take skin color into consideration too. And it's unfortunate, but I think we're kind of straying off the topic, and that the topic is self sabotage and self limiting ourselves. Like Miggy said something that's so true. It's like I did. I should feel like I belong at a table with Jay-Z and Nas. Like
It's all about
right. Just because we don't make the same amount of money, just because we make less, I still have a lot to bring to the table and to offer to this conversation.
and that's the confidence a lot of us don't have, right? We don't. I like what Miguel said at the end. He said that, dang, where is it? He says, if, yeah, oh, right. He says that, surprised at all, but if he doesn't believe it, then it probably won't happen, right? We almost, as you said, that self-sabotaging. I can't do it. I won't be able to do that. That's just beyond me, or beyond what, my possibilities. When, if you don't, what they say, if you don't dream it, or if you don't believe it, it won't ever happen.
Right. Yeah, like Kanye West, he is where he is because that man believes in himself.
Wait, can I pause for a moment?
Yeah. When you gonna open up your own clothing consulting business? Yo, all right, Meg. You will be my first client, yo, if I couldn't do that. Thank you. Yeah, you can put on the sunglasses.
It's not shade.
Because she's always been saying I need to do that. But I self-limit myself.
He self-sabotages and says, well,
Ain't nobody trying to check for me. Ain't nobody want my advice. Plus, Mickey already got it, though. He's nice with it.
I'm sure he is. But what I'm saying is that you're limiting yourself because of how you feel people will respond or react, right? That's how it is in life. Like, we fear people so much, right? That it limits and it creates this, I can't, because I don't feel like what I have is good enough for other people to want to invest, or even to.
Well, a lot of people fear what they don't know. And I think failure is one of the biggest roadblocks, because one of the things that when you step out the boat, you want to be able to walk on water. Like, you don't want to struggle. You don't want to have to deal with the storms. And so you're kind of fearful of, when I step out, you don't want to have to run back to the boat that you stepped out of. So I think all of those things we start thinking about in our brains before we even attempt to start that new thing or whatever it is, right? So I think those are some factors that play into it. And I also think that, for Black people, for race plays a role as well, in regards to, like, I can't step out because I don't, well, let me not even use race in this part. I can't step out because I don't have enough cushion to fall back on, right? I don't have a portfolio. I don't have finance. So I have to stay here because I need this check until I can get another check to replace it. So those are all things that I think that people self-limit and self-sabotage. But the people who have been successful are the people who walked out on the water and just said, I got to start this. I believe in myself. I believe in this product, and I'm going to go out and do it. But then somebody else said something too. I wonder if the church helps create that self
Yeah, I think it was Marlene. Hey, Marlene. It's been so many years since I've seen you. But yeah, she says many Christians feel guilty or something is wrong with prosperity. The scripture Don't be a lover of money is used when discussing finances in the church many times. So we feel guilty about too much achievement, especially financially.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that sometimes churches don't really support entrepreneurship, or at least preach it or teach people like, look, we want you to become business owners. We want you to, practice like we practice preaching, stepping out of the boat and walking on water.
As
But
it
we practice
relates
it
to
spiritually,
spiritually,
but not physically in the sense of
your
you're at, yeah,
dreams,
your
your
dreams, you're at a dead end job. This is how we're going to teach you how to walk out on water. And then, we always preach to humility and being humble, not to be boastful and proud. And somehow we equate, or we make we make humility synonymous with being broke, or being like, not broke, but modest and things like that. I don't know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. You're saying that a lot of times, because we're taught to be humbled, we're taught to not be boastful, that when it comes to money and prosperity, that it should be the very same thing.
Yeah.
So if you were to go and buy a Mercedes Benz or a Ferrari, that's like anti what the church, or what we've been taught, in that that's puffing yourself up. There are a lot of people that would off the bat judge you and be like, oh, she thinks you all of that now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, I think the black church really needs to probably continue in working on not just preparation for heaven, but preparation for the earth that we live on right now, to encourage and have those classes about entrepreneurship. Because the Bible talks a lot about money, and about being a steward and finances and things like
and
that.
what you do with what you
Yeah,
have.
the only thing we teach when it comes to finances and stewards is how to give money to the church.
Say that one more time. Wait. Let me put this on. Wait.
Yeah, now you're gonna get me in trouble talking about the church, right?
No, I really want you to say, because you're speaking the truth. You're not saying
Yeah.
anything that's not truthful.
Yeah.
But I just want you to say it one more time for me, because I need it to saturate in my brain. Can you
Yeah.
say it one more time?
No,
please?
I think that at least from my perspective,
Mhm.
and not speaking for anybody else, it's just that sermons on finances and stewardship always go back to giving to the church, right? How to be a better steward to support the mission, how to be a better steward with your money to pay tithe, but not necessarily like how to be a better steward with your money to pay tithe or to give back to the mission, but also to invest in yourself. Also to how to, divest, and how to make a portfolio, and how to become financially stable to stand on your own 2 feet, that, you know, you can have the freedom to do other things, right? So I think we can probably balance it more in, because we're very heavily leaned towards, teaching how to get to the kingdom and how to be in heaven. But there's little teaching about, hey, you're 20 years old, you just got a job. Let me teach you about a Roth IRA and what that Roth IRA. And so some people say maybe that's not the purpose of the church. But here's the thing though. If they're not going to get it from the church, then where are they going to get it from? Right? Like the public school is not going to teach them about that stuff. You'll be blessed if you have a parent or an uncle or a family member who can teach you about that stuff. Like, where do we get the education on that kind of, financial, uh, financial, knowledge, or freedom, so that we can be free, things like that. So I think the church has a heavy responsibility to Black people and to the community and to themselves.
I like this, Camilla. Yes to what you just said. They find ways to humble you. It's usually because looking at your success makes them uncomfortable, because they are actually lazy and using humbleness as a cover.
Mm.
That's a word.
Mm-hmm. That's a whole
That's
word.
a word, sis. Like, yes, the truth right there. Oftentimes, you feel like your success shouldn't make other people uncomfortable. Your success should be something that is supported. You know, people should applaud you as well as you applaud others for their success, not look down on them or
Right.
talk about them or make up things and make up different narratives to make it seem as though like they're doing something wrong when in fact you're hating.
Yeah, and this goes back to the earlier conversation. This is why you don't need to have church every week. Because when we get in the building, it affords us opportunities to look at not everybody, but we just look at each other, right? And it affords that opportunity to just keep looking at what you drove or what you're wearing, things like that. And I think like when you're outside the building and you're not there every week, you probably get to a place where you're probably more happy to see other people and see their success. But then when you're outside serving and when you're in your house and you're doing what you're doing, the only thing, that you're focusing on yourself and you're living a free life and things like that. And then you may end up on social media and things like that. But, sometimes the being in the church every week can create like a toxic environment of comparison, because we find everything to compare ourselves with inside a church. Like we compare ourselves spiritually, we find ways to compare ourselves, with uh, clothes wise, with monetary things. And is there really any growing that's happening in a church from week to week? I don't know. I don't feel like my thoughts are all here this episode. I feel like I'm all over the place.
No, you're not. You're definitely speaking to the reality of things, right? The reality that yeah, church do that for us. I think, especially when day to day you're kind of running a rat race where you have people in at work that you may be um, that you may there's always like a certain level, right? You may be on this level, you may be on the highest level, you may be on the bottom, medium, or whatever. But I think still there are opportunities. No, they're not really opportunities for you to. But I'm just saying, church should be that place, that safe space where here is all of me. Here is the successful me. Here is the I'm broke me. Here is the whoever, right? Whoever you show up to be. And it should be embraced, or it should not be where, oh, look at brother so and so. They think they better than me, or, they think that they have, whatever. And and it's not encouraged per se.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I've just got like a whole bunch of thoughts
Uh-oh.
in my brain.
Your whole bunch of thoughts is a little bit scary. But I also see where the church does not speak to generational wealth. Oh, girl, please. So generational struggle is fine and dandy. I know, or fine and dandy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That generational that is not taught. Generational what? Not at all. I think because we're so heavenly minded, right? The church itself. I'm not saying the individuals.
Yeah.
Even though the church is everyone in the church, but I think the body, the organizing body, says that we don't really learn how to. We don't teach those things because we're going to heaven. Why do we need to know about generational wealth?
It's weird. It's so weird because it's like humility and Christianity always becomes synonymous with struggle, right? And so it's always synonymous with like the widow's mite, or this poor person, and being humble and modest. But the church loves rich people because rich people give more and things like that. So it's just, I don't know. I'm kind of don't want to talk about church. I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about something else.
Well, you kind of took it to church. I'm not sure. You always bringing it back to church, but I definitely feel that it should be. I definitely feel that we should, as a people, embrace our successes um, and not feel bad or guilty if we want to walk into that space that isn't often treaded because of who we are as a people. but we should go ahead and walk into that store, go ahead and walk into that house and act like you belong there, because you do,
Yeah.
right? You do belong there.
Yeah, yeah. To Marlene, she says she agrees with not having service on a weekly
Disagree.
basis. Disagrees, right? And I think for people who work at church don't want it every week. And now I'm not saying that Marlene, I don't know if she has an office or she has to plan the service every week and stuff like that. I think there are people who want church every week. Like, I wouldn't mind having church every week if I didn't have to preach every week.
Mm.
Or if I didn't have to plan a worship service every week. Because to be honest, I don't know what more to say to people who have been going to church all their lives. Like, Jesus only preached for 3.5 years because he didn't have nothing else probably to say.
I'm sure he had lots to say.
He was like, "Look, I gave y'all everything y'all need. It's time for me to go.
I'm sure
Run
Jesus
with it."
had
Right?
lots to say.
But for me, you know, like I think like I don't know if people understand like the difficulty it is preparing and writing sermons. Like sometimes I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to say to you that you have not heard
before,
or you don't know already, right?
Right.
And so I think for people who work and put together the service, praise team people, those people that make the show run, I can see them saying like, "Yo, can I get a break?"
Mm-hmm. And they do
you know,
get a break.
And then even praise team people get a break. Well, in some churches, there's some praise teams that have to sing every week.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff is hard, especially when
It
people
is.
aren't responding
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to think about, okay, let me go CCM on them. Let me go gospel on them. Let me try this. Let me try that. And I think those are the things that hurt people, and people leave, and then people like, I'm not taking this office no more. I'm good. You know, because church is very one dimensional. It's set up like a theater. People watch. They get to see the final show. They don't get to see the bloopers, all the preparation that goes into it. They feel fed. They feel wonderful. Maybe get something to eat, then they go home. But if you're doing it every week and you're like thinking about, okay, what am I going to say? How am I going to do this? What trick do I need to come up with? Or, you know, because it's not just like the Holy Spirit gives you an idea and then you could bam, you got like a 35, 40-minute sermon to preach. You got to sit there and toil for hours, and then you're sitting there like, did I say this before, or did I do this before? And then you're like, oh man, I did this before. I got to scratch that. I got to find what I'm gonna say this week. And so I think those are the hard part, and it's tiring too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's like preaching is like watching basketball, right? It's like you watch the game and you see them shoot a ball in the hoop, and you're like, do this. But then when you actually play the game, you know, it's like our girls in softball, right? Like they watch it, it looks easy. And when you actually do it, you're like, yo, this joint is no joke. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think for people that have to put and plan the service, I could see them strongly saying like, yo, I can't do this every week. Mm-hmm. Let's do something else where I don't have to be the main attraction. You know, like let's switch it up where you are the main attraction.
Yeah, I could definitely get that. It's like going into classroom and teaching every day, right? Um, teaching students, especially online, it's a lot more challenging than teaching them in person. Um, but at least I get a break. At least I have, I have a moment, right, to retreat and to have summer break or whatnot. But this is something that's year round, something that, yes, you do have vacation, right? You can take vacation, but then, you're still in that cycle when you come back, and it can be very tiring. I think for me as a lay person, the piece of going to church and doing the same thing every time, all the time, is a bit, I think it's showing more now. Before, pre-COVID, it just felt like this was a requirement, that this is something I have to do. I have to go to church every Sabbath. I have to be here. I have to be doing this. I have to be wherever. And so I think there's so much freedom that this pandemic has brought, in a sense, where in a sense there's that freedom to really enjoy the Sabbath the way you feel best, right? You can enjoy it with your family by going out in nature, taking walks, bicycle rides, and enjoying, or just being at home in the bed and just chilling. Now, will I do that every week, when church is open? Probably not, because that too gets tiring. And I think the purpose of church is more of a community fellowshipping kind of experience. It's like going to, going to a reunion every week,
Yeah.
where you're going to the same place, you're seeing the same people that you haven't seen all week, and it's just an opportunity for you to come together and worship, right? But I do feel that there needs to be, for me personally, I'm not speaking on anyone's behalf, but I feel for me personally that I need to break it up, where yes, I'm going into the church and I'm worshiping, I'm praising, I'm enjoying the show. And then I need opportunities to serve, where my hands and feet, I'm actually doing something, where I'm not just sitting up in a building talking about how we should do that. And I'm not necessarily doing that because I'm working. Life happens, right? Where those opportunities don't.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about those opportunities because there's work every day, but the weekend, where there's a little bit more freedom to go and to, be a part of a ministry, or be a part of a day of service, where, you're doing something to help other people. I think that's what makes your walk with Christ come to life, where you're actually doing, what you've been reading and talking about
And
in church.
that's why it needs to be less formal, right? Because you need, and I agree, you do need that place for fellowship and for community. But as the model is right now, it doesn't provide that, because there's so much work that goes into just getting to church, right?
Right.
Like, especially if you have children, you got to take out a dress, you got to find your suit, you got to do this, you got to dress up, right? And when you get there, there's no opportunity for community and talking. It's just sit down. It's like going to a theater, right? You're trying to get there in time before the show starts, or you're trying to get there in time to get parking. You're going to listen to the praise team. You're going to listen to the elder pray for 30 minutes because he's trying to get a shine. And then you're going to listen to the pastor, you know, you're going to listen to the pastor.
Shade.
You know, what's the pastor going to say to me today? And then you just leave, right?
Well, there are opportunities, but there are opportunities.
But in that whole wait, but in that
Okay.
whole thing, there's no opportunity for casual conversation, or for talk, or for like what's really going on. Like, happy Sabbath or how you doing is a formality. It's, hey, it's just I'm doing good, and we walk away. We call each other brother and sister, but we're not really brother and sister. And so I think that it's supposed to be a place of refuge for, I see the sunglasses going on. I think it's supposed to be a place of refuge from the week, right? From working all week, from dealing with this. And you come, and if there's a section that you want to go to inside the church, and you want to be able to sit down and drink and have a meal and have a conversation with a group of people, that's great. Or you go this or you do that. I just think that it's so formal that it's hindering.
Yeah.
It's almost
formal.
like, and then
But
people get
that's what-
tired of the formality.
But that's what not Christians. That's what humans do, right? We are very much into formality. We love doing the same thing every single. It's called. What is it called?
Creatures of habit, I guess.
Yeah, like it's called a habit. You do it this amount of time for this. If you do the same thing for this amount of time, it becomes a habit. Like that's what it is. And so I think, even though most of us are probably wanting to break that habit, but it's going against exactly what we've been doing all of our lives. And so we come to a section or intersection where it's like, okay, do we keep going, or do we stop and change? And I guarantee you, especially the ones that are rooted and grounded in this thing, they are not changing.
So-
there are those people that are wanting to go back to church. I guarantee you are the people that are very much into the tradition, very much into the regimented, because it gives them order. It
So
gives them.
here's a great question I'd love to ask, and I'd love somebody to do a study on this, right? Do you feel like you've grown more spiritually not going to the church, or do you feel like you need the church to grow spiritually? Like, does the building, and I'm not being facetious or anything, and not
I know
not
you're
trying to, I'm
not,
just
but
asking a real
I'm putting
question.
this on for myself.
Yeah, and I
This is
would
not
love
for
to.
you.
Okay,
This is not for you. This is for me.
like I would love to gauge members, right, and do a study like this to say, okay, does the building make you more spiritual? Does the service make you more spiritual? Does the service make you feel like you have grown more, that you are closer to God? Or have you been growing spiritually? Have you been growing connected with your family and your community since there is no, like, can you get the same results without a building or without going to a building every week and listening to a certain group of people sing, a certain person preach? Are you getting the same results, or are you seeing yourself slipping and falling away from God because you have not been going every week? Like, I think that's the question that needs to be asked during this pandemic, which will give us the answer for
So what going forward?
going forward and what we need to do. Because if I feel like if the giving is still the same, if you're going to use that metric, if the if people feel like they are growing because they're able to listen to different pastors speak and different perspectives on certain things, and if people are able to spend time with their families and grow with them and to learn and to love them and to do things outside with them, then why do we want to break that up by forcing them into a building every week? Then why don't we say, okay, we like what you're doing. We want you to keep on doing that. Come to this building on the first and on the fourth Sabbath. And in between, as a church, we're going to create opportunities that will tell you, hey, meet us here or go here where you can serve with your family or just stay home and spend time with your family. Like, those I think those are the questions that we need to ask instead of just automatically defaulting to say, let's go back to opening up.
Right.
4
What do
weeks.
Because the big question is, what are we opening to? What are we opening for?
Right. Because if we're going to open 2, what's going to happen is I'm going to create more people
Yeah.
who are going to be angry at the church, because a
Yeah.
lot of people leave church not because of the message, it's because of how other church people have treated them. Or they don't get what they want. People leave church because they don't get what they want, or because of how people in the church have treated them, and so they go find another one. So am I going to do more of a disservice by opening up and creating more toxic environments, or is everything okay and we're doing well and we can function in a new normal where we just have multiple pockets of small groups and people worshiping, and then we come together for a big old party that's not like what we've been doing from week to week?
No. Wow. That's facts right there. That's facts. Yeah. Yeah. That's facts, because now there isn't so much of a dependence for the church, or dependent for um, people to make you feel like you're worshiping, right? The praise team have prayfully that they got their stuff together, and you depend. I'm going to church to I need something to lift my spirit. I've had a tough week, and I need a pick me up, right? And so we go to church, and as you say, get that high, get that pick me up, and then I go back to the cycle of things. But when you're home, when I'm home, I depend on me, right? I depend on my relationship with God to be the pick me upper, not someone else, right? So for me, I would, like last night, we were playing Maverick City, whatever.
Yeah.
That their songs. I mean, the entire album. I'm not the entire, like 1 or 2 songs I don't like, but anyway, like my hands are raised at the table, like we're having dinner and we're listening to it, and I'm just like in a full worship mode because of that song. So no longer am I dependent on, I gotta wait till Sabbath, right? I gotta wait till Sabbath to get that high. Now I get that high Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You know what I mean? And that dependence isn't so heavily on the pastor. So it's not heavily on the praise team. It is solely on, or even Sabbath school, which I don't attend, but anyway, for Sabbath school, and even when they used to have AY, I'm now focusing, or my source, I go to the source, which is God, right? And so for me to answer your question, I would say I am a lot closer to God now than I was when I was attending church. But I think it's just due to the fact now I'm not depending on a building to serve me what is already available to me every single day, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I know the social aspect of it. Yes, I do miss that for sure. But the spiritual aspect, I wouldn't say that I'm less closer to God, or my spiritual walk with God has not grown since coming to not being in the building.
Yeah, and like, what's up, Vance? And Vance hit it right. So I think going to church and how we have the model right now, we've lost the ability to imagine and the ability to dream, right? Because we default to the reality. And no one is like reimagining and dreaming about how to do this differently. What if we stopped building churches, or we took some of the existing churches and made them community service centers? Where gut out the whole sanctuary, right? Gut out all the pews and just turn it into a big cafeteria. And your board, your staff are the volunteers cooking meals and serving people. Like opening it up to be a place of refuge for people that need food, that need services. Like, can worship, pardon me, I had a smoothie just now. Can worshiping God be manifested in other ways? Right? Does worshiping God only mean can only be manifested in a praise team, someone preaching, and a benediction? Is that an old paradigm that probably needs to shift? Can worshiping God be consistent in serving other people, feeding other people, ministering to their needs, and then asking them to follow, right? Does it have, because Jesus, the way he connected with people, when you look at it through the scriptures, he ate with people. He fed people. He sat down. The Bible says he eats with publicans and sinners. And the people that hated him for doing that was church people. Because why? They hated him because he was not doing it the way
They
wanted him to do it, right? They hated him because he was not following that paradigm. He came and brought a new paradigm. And I'm just saying that I think the pandemic is giving us an opportunity to reimagine and to dream about what worship can be and what it can feel like. It doesn't have to feel like praise team singing, one person preaching. It can be, this is our church, the church of the food, or whatever you want to call it, right? And all we do from Sabbath to Sabbath is we open up the doors and we feed people. It's simple, right? It will cost money, but the money would go towards, instead of, paying musicians and paying, lights and all this other overhead stuff that we pay. We just invest the money in buying food, building a pantry, and just having some of the great cooks, not cook for ourselves after church, but cook for the whole day. We make sandwiches. Like, can that, I think what we've done, we've boxed God in to worship just being a model that we've taken from the Methodists, or a model that we've taken from with other faith tradition. And God is bigger than that. And I don't think we need to have multiple churches doing the same thing. You need a church that's just a community center.
And I guarantee you, that church that's going to be the community center, you'll see how people will be flocking to it by droves. Because why? We want to attach this walk with something tangible.
Yeah, you need a church that's a free clinic. You need a church that's a coffee shop or a lounge where people can come and sit down on the Sabbath morning and get rest and put their feet up and read books if they want to.
And then have a discussion
and
about
have a discussion. You don't have to keep building more pews and pulpits. You have to get rid of the pulpit. You have to get rid of the star, the show. The pastor is the star. He is shining lights and all of that stuff. It goes on him. You have to eliminate that. And there's a reason why Jesus spent more time outside of the synagogue than in the synagogue. There's a reason why Jesus said, destroy this temple. There's a reason why the Bible says, You are the temple of the living God. That's why he says all those things, because he's trying to move us from the formalities of what the scribes and Pharisees had to building relationships and communicating with people that we would never reach if we keep putting God in a building.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Quentin. Yeah, what you just said, I just need a moment to kind of digest what you just said because it's the reality. And I don't think anyone is having these conversations, right? These are conversations that are not being had. Conversations that are being had are open up the open up the church, open up the building. But how? How will we move forward with that? What does that look like? What does that feel like? People have been traumatized with an entire pandemic for an entire year and change. If this pandemic only spanned for about 6 months, then we'll probably go right back into it, right? But we've been out of church for over a year, y'all. Like, our lives have changed. The way that we live now is not the way we lived a year ago. So just trying to think even through that, we can't go back to it as normal. If we do, then I feel like all of this is for naught. All of this is for nothing. Quentin, I'm sorry, I'm going to put what you said. He said, you want to read it?
Yeah, I believe that imagining new ideas has been stifled because some of the ideas don't look like they can gain money for conferences or organizations. Organization conference sustainability has been the priority over truly helping our communities. I can't argue with that. And I think that, Quentin, what you said is a reality that administration needs to pay attention to, because they think that, it's a balcony and the dance floors. I always say this, like, when you go to a party, you have people that are on the balcony and then you have people that are on the dance floor. If you're on the balcony and you're looking down at the party, it looks great because the music is playing. It looks like everybody's dancing, having a good time. But if you're on the dance floor, it's a totally different picture because maybe somebody's trying to get out. It's too packed. It's too loud. I don't like it down here. And sometimes the balcony, which is sometimes administration, they just think that because the money's coming in and all this other stuff and it's not going the way it should be, then everything's good. The only time the balcony gets concerned is when the music stops. And then they want to know what's going on. Turn back on the music. So you see that right now, right? So the balcony is confused because why? The churches are closed. The music has stopped. All right, hurry up, turn back on the music. Get the people back in the buildings and let's go back to normal, because that's what the balcony sees. But if the balcony comes off and goes down to the dance floor, then they'll hear what Quentin Everett Jr. is saying. That y'all look like y'all only want money to keep your institution alive. And once they start hearing what people on the dance floor are saying, then maybe they'll begin to start saying, okay, let's take a different approach. Because if the balcony, and I'm only speaking hypothetically, I'm not saying that this is all it cares, but if the balcony only cares about money, then they have to adjust so that they can make sure that if that money still keeps coming, if I'm making it any sense, right? To say, okay, we need to pivot, we need to change. And I agree with Vanston. You have to go back to that New Testament model where it was small houses. And the Bible says that when that church in Acts, it talks about the poor and how they gave. It says that they gave all their possessions so that there was no poor amongst them. Right? So what they were basically saying is that if you were hungry and you were poor, you could not be around us. Or you could not be around us and be poor. We want to make sure that you have enough so that you could be in our community. So that goes and tells me that there should never be people who are struggling in our churches, in our pews. Everybody should have food. Everybody should have, the rights to whatever they need to have. And there should not be a separation of classes, because the people were so connected to their small groups that they knew who was struggling and who wasn't. And the other thing too is that after Jesus died and when those different houses met for worship, the maximum size that they would grow to was 30 people. After they hit 30 people, then they would split up and they would start a new house worship. And so what they were saying was that if we get too big, then we lose people. People fall through the cracks. Feelings get hurt. because you didn't call, you didn't do this for me, and then it's so difficult for one person to manage all of that. So they kept it small, said 30 people. We got bigger than 30 people. Then let's move and let's build another one. So they always had a cap, because with that cap, they were able to know everybody's name. They knew where everybody lived, and they were truly a community, and they were changing things around them. But the model we have is basically an American Western capitalist kind of model, where it's like the bottom feeds the top, and we fell into the trap of, let's get bigger churches, let's get big, 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 and with that, we kind of lost the focus.
Yeah, because when it gets big, that's when it becomes more complicated, because you
Yeah.
have more people in there that want it to look this way, that wants it to be to feel this way, and all those opinions sometimes becomes frustrating, it becomes draining,
'Cause
and
it becomes lights, camera, action.
right, it becomes more about serving yourself than serving the community and serving each other, in a sense where you have a need. I know you have a need. How can we help? Opposed to, dang, I haven't seen sister so and so in a while. I wonder what's, we say that, but we don't have it in us to. Some of us, I'm not saying all of us, some of us don't have it in us to call and to.
And the marketplace isn't fair, because you can't, like, even right now with the churches streaming, you can't compete with the churches that have, and I hate the word compete, but it's a reality, right? You can't compare or come near to the churches that have the budgets to put on a great online, like, service, right? Like I look at my church, great and wonderful church, and I know that I don't have nowhere near the budget of Oakwood University Church, because they've got a full production team. Like, their thing is tight. That's why people enjoy watching it. The small little church that's trying their best, it's like, man, we got Zoom. I got my little FaceTime camera. I'm gonna do the best I can with what I got, right? And then the hard part is that you'll have members who will watch, Oakwood Church and be like, yo, look at how they services. Why can't our service be like that? Why we can't do, like, why they, look, they got over 1,000 people watching. We only got like 40 people. And I'm saying, they're like, all right, give me a production team, give me, workers that's doing that, and then we'll be able to have, media and graphic designers. Give me all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not hating on,
Absolutely not,
on what Buddy Bird and what the Oakwood University Church. I think it's absolutely great and it's wonderful, and I celebrate it, and I'm like, yo, that is dope. But I'm just knowing, it's almost like what we started out talking about, like, am I self-sabotaging myself?
Right.
It's like, yeah, but I'm not. I'm just like,
no,
I know
it's reality.
I know what it is. Right. And I think that, we don't need to build, I'm going to say this right now, we don't need to build more churches. We really don't. We don't need more. We need less. Because with less, it will create more community. It will build more relationships. Yeah, we don't need any more.
Yeah, no, you should watch Oakwood. Their program, I mean, it's state of the art, like state of the art in that, it's great, it's wonderful. The kids program is amazing. Yeah, so definitely watch it. Definitely tune in. But it would be nice to have churches like, Oakwood doing such an amazing job. And then you would have another church who's like, yo, we are documenting us doing this hands and feet of Jesus type ministry, right? I want you to see what it is that we're doing, opposed to just having us competing, or oh yeah, this church actually is doing so much better, visually, and this one not. Instead of doing those comparisons, how about we do comparisons where it's like, yo, you want a really great traditional service, in that the singing is on point, the preaching is on point, the children's service is on point, and then you go to another church and be like, yo, their stuff that they have right now is on point, because they're showing how they, in this pandemic, they're touching hearts and lives in a different way, right? In a different way, and so.
And I think the people, and I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking what I think people would want. But I'm assuming that people want something different, right? I'm assuming that people want, or would at least be excited about, they're trying to do something different,
Right.
right? Like, our next church plant is not a church plant. We're planting a free clinic. Or our next church plant is not a church plant. We're planting a supermarket. And we're going to break down this church because this church is in a food desert, and we understand that spiritual food is important, but we need to give people physical food, and we're going to preach through the selling of affordable groceries in impoverished communities. Right? Like that's the kind of thinking I would love to hear and get excited about.
Yeah.
Like this is the vision. Like this community only has Bank of America, Wells Fargo. These people don't make any money off of that. We're going to plant a credit union in this community for the people. We're going to plant houses on this piece of land that we can put people inside of. Like, can we preach sermons like that? Can we do the naked and you clothed me, hungry and you fed me? Can we preach that sermon, right? There's enough capital that flows through our regional conferences, that flows through our buildings. Can we package the gospel in a different way, right? Without having to come week to week and yell at people, right? Like, oh, you wretch, you're dirty, and
you're undone.
It's like, you ain't never gonna be nothing until you hook up with Jesus. Jesus, like, come on, man, fam. I know that already, right? Like, or like it's like it's like this, right? There has to be a graduation service for believers, right? So it's like, okay, church is from here to here, like from the first 3 years or 4 years. This is what we're doing in here. We're training you to be a disciple. Every week, this is the lesson, right? It's like boom, boom, boom. Year 4, you have graduated. Now it's time to do the work. So now you belong to the next part of our worship service. That is the work part. That is, you will now work with this team to create opportunities for people who have not met Christ to meet him in a brand new way.
Wow.
Like that would be a dope church, right? Like 4 years, you're learning all about this, and at the end of the 4 years, you should have graduated to now apostleship, right? Because that's what Jesus did, right? He took the disciples for 3.5 years. He taught them everything they needed to know. He said, okay, now I'm going to die, but now you go out and do what I've taught you. They've graduated, right? And then we just keep repeating that cycle. We keep reading that, okay, now you can go on to Dr. Knight's church, because Dr. Knight's church is all about work.
But even having to do that piece of it is huge in our church. Being able to share members in that way, for you to be like, yo, I'm so confident that it's almost like you graduating from an Ivy League school. Like, yo, I'm confident in what you've been learning or what I've taught you now, because I know that this program is amazing. I can refer you out, opposed to being so, sometimes as humans, we hold on to things and we become so selfish and say, oh, I don't want to share my members, or why is my member looking at another pastor? Just being able to say, yo, this service that is over here that this other pastor is doing, go do that. That's your next step.
Right. Because
like even that alone is huge, because you don't do that. You don't share members, right? You don't share. You're not taught to be like, yo, be okay with a member that goes to another church. Be like, oh my God.
No, because what's supposed to happen is every 4 years, a pastor is supposed to have a different congregation. I should not be preaching to hold on to the same people for 30, 40 years.
Wow.
My job should be to inspire you, to train and to teach you to go on and to do something else. Give me the next incoming class. Give me the class of 2024. Let's work on them and let's teach them everything that the Bible tells them to do and how Jesus lived his life. and then let's graduate them, and then you go on to the next one. And I think what we do is we create a cycle of stagnation, and then we create a cycle of people sitting in the same pews for 75 years, and then their kids come and sit in the same pews, and it's the cycle. And I think that's what Jesus was like. Jesus was like, yo, destroy this thing, man. This system is not what's up no more. Let's get rid of it. Let's go out. Let's go do this. And that's why he says, I've given you the keys to hell, to Hades, right? Because what he's saying? He's saying, I'm giving you the keys to walk into hell and to snatch people out and to bring them into salvation. What we've done is we've taken the key and we've locked the door, and we're not letting people inside, and we're not going out. So it kind of like, and I mean, like, it may fail, right? This idea is just in my brain. It may fail, but at least we tried to do something different, right?
Yeah, but even, yeah, you just done. I mean, we've talked about this before, but every time you speak it or say it, it's just like it becomes even more like, yo, that makes so much sense, because even in those 4 years or whatever amount of time, you've created community, and that community is moving on to a next section or a next part of the mission, right? It's not like you're going by yourself. You're moving with community. You're creating that community, which makes it that much more beautiful.
Yeah.
And also, I think a lot of times for our church, we see a lot of people. Sorry, we hold on to numbers as a means of how we are productive or how successful we are. Oh my gosh, how many members you have in your church? That's why you have baptismal. Those baptismal goals, right? They want you to meet a certain amount of people, right?
Yeah.
And that certain amount is what equates your success. Now, when you have this rotating church, sometimes you may have 30, maybe you'll have 50, maybe you'll have 100, 200, right? But I feel as though it gives that opportunity for growth.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, right? So you're a teacher, and whatever level, when you see kids graduate, you're just glad they graduate. You don't care about, well, you do care, but you're just happy that they're going further in life, right? So even if you're okay, high school, right? You're a high school teacher and you see kids graduate. You know that this kid is going to that college. You know that this kid is going to that college. You know that they're going to work there. You're just glad that they graduated. And I think that's how we need to look at this church model, right? Like, I'm going to be excited that you're graduating, because why? You're going to a school for education. The other person's going to go to school for engineering. Spiritually, you're going, or not, you're graduating, your passion is education. You're going to join the church of educators to create a better paradigm for Christian schools.
Woo!
Right?
Sorry, y'all.
Your passion is engineering. You're going to go to the Christian church that builds a new paradigm for developing infrastructure. Right? All I did was hold you for 4 years and just taught you everything. Did not change you from what your passion or what you love in life. But now, after the class of 2024 is over, you know what church you want to go to next.
Wow.
Because you know where your passion is, and you're going to learn there how to use your education skills or whatever it is to help develop and build the best, creative, and most amazing educational experiences for people in the community.
Do you know how powerful that is? Because you're using what you know. A lot of times in churches, you have people serving in positions that they don't know anything about.
Yeah.
When their 9 to 5 is say engineering, and they're the head of, I don't know, whatever. And I'm not saying that those positions cannot be interchanged. What I'm just trying to say is, sometimes in church, you have people doing things that they don't do from 9 to 5. Their regular 9 to 5. They're doing something completely different than what they do. But if you're training people in their passion, in their field, to use what God has gifted to them, to use it to help other people, it makes it that much more dynamic.
And it's biblical, right? Like, God took Moses, who was tending his father-in-law's sheep, and said, now I'm going to use you to lead Israel out of bondage. Jesus called Simon Peter and Andrew, his brother, who were fishermen. He didn't change them into youth directors. He said, now you will be fishers of men. So, in other words, how you catch fish, now I'm going to train you on how to catch people for the gospel. How you lead sheep, I'm going to use you to lead people, right? So it's like we do a bad job at saying, oh, because you're young, you should be
AY leader.
AY leader. No, no, no. Find out where people are first. Find out what they love. I just gave them the basic tenets of how to be a better human and how to inspire other people, and then work within where they are. I think one of the other things that needs to probably go away is the church manual. We've been using that church manual since
Noah was a scout. That's what West Indians say.
Or whatever that thing was from since like the 1900s. It hasn't really updated since. It's 2020, y'all. 2021. We probably need to look at a new paradigm for how we manage and how we do, because there's a lot of departments that we fill every 2 years in a nominating committee that we don't need to keep filling. We don't need to keep putting people in those positions. And the reason why is because they'll be in that position for like 3 months, and then after that, they're gone. They're finished. They don't want to do it no more. So I think like there's some things that, going back to originally, imagination and dreaming has been stifled. And once you lose your ability to imagine, once you lose your ability to dream, you pretty much, you stay stuck. You know, you don't move or you don't think. And I think it's okay to mess up sometimes. I think we need to try new things and mess up. Yeah, we may lose money, but money is always there. It'll come back. And that's the only way you figure out what's the right way or how to do things. You got to take a risk. You got to take a leap and say, okay, let's put money into this, into wise investments, into wise things. Or to say, hey, the horse is dead. I think it's time we take a car, instead of trying to revive horses that have already died. And I think we do that in the church a lot. We know the horse is dead, and we keep like, maybe if you give it some, you know, give it some food, give it a carrot, and that thing is dead, man. It's like, yo, we need a different mode of transportation.
Ray is like, you can't say anything about the church manual. People will be calling the conference office. Nah, man, that joint is not the Bible. I mean, it's the Bible of the church.
Yeah.
The body, but that church manual needs to be updated post-pandemic.
And I understand the need for a manual. I just understand that it needs to be. Yeah, give it some Vicks.
Give it some Vicks.
Yeah.
Vicks and some tea.
Yeah, everything. Vicks and tea. Yeah, you know what? The horse deck, you ain't give it no Vicks, man. Rub some Vicks on his chest. Horse tongue is all out. People sitting on it. Somebody's like, yo, this horse is dead, man. Let's try something else. But
yeah, that's good, Jamie. That's some good stuff right there.
Yeah, you know what's crazy though? I'm gonna forget everything I just said.
No, you can't forget it, because
that's how my brain works.
No, but we just it's definitely documented on here, and to the 41 people that are watching, they are definitely whatchamacallit, they're definitely witnesses to what it is that you just stated. But I definitely think that it is
oh yeah, Barna Group messed me up. I think Barna Group came out with a study on the Adventist church. It wasn't distributed. I think you can Google it and you can find it. And this was a few years ago. I think Barna was like, your church is on the brink of dying.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I think they were talking about the age gap, that there's a big age gap between leadership and between the people in the pews. And until you make a flip, unless you make a flip, you're going to see some devastating times. Don't quote me on it, but I think you can Google it and find it. George Barna and the Seventh-day Adventist study that he did.
Gary says, we think because Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever, but we think we're the same. So we don't want to change anything to do with church.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? Because we only think like that for church. If that were the case, take that thinking in everything, then don't buy a car. Go get a horse and a buggy and go everywhere you need to go.
Oh, snap.
right? It's like everything else can change, right? Everything else can adapt to society.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else can adapt to what is happening, but the church has to stay within the same paradigm from everything else. You would go crazy if you took a job and they say, "Hey, we don't change here. We need you to type all of these documents on a word processor." Right? It's like you'd be like, "Can I have internet? Can I have a computer?" Because you expect everything else in your world to operate differently and to be with the times. You upgrade your phone almost every 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to church, it has to stay in the same model that it's always been. We expect everything else to dream and to change, but the church, absolutely not. It's a blasphemy if it
Yeah, it's
changes.
just like what my mom always says. She always says that, you know, times have changed. So we don't need to. It's not the message doesn't change, but the method should change, right? The way that
Yeah.
the message we put the message. Ray brought up an excellent point. He says that some good points. Many of the departments do not need.
Do not really function.
Yeah, we need some new departments based on needs of the community. That's so interesting because when you think about, okay, like right now, and this is just for example. I know this is for example, personal ministries. What is that? Right? Just the title itself. And to his point, he says that we need to rename the department so it can reflect the times that we're living in. Personal
Mm-hmm.
ministry. What is personal ministry? Personal ministry, by just looking at the title itself, just means that ministry that involves what? Me?
I, yeah, I think personal ministries is really supposed to be that community thing, right? It's supposed to be like,
Were you talking about the community in the church or the community outside of the church?
yeah, the community in the church and making sure that when new people come, that there are things set up for them to feel welcomed and things like that. But here's the problem,
But
right? Like, go ahead, finish your
but
thought.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, to his point, which I agree with, those titles do not reflect or represent the times that we're living in now,
Yeah,
right? It needs to be it needs to
yeah.
be
And
updated.
and you described the actual problem. People who take some departments don't even know what the description of that department is. And then when
Sorry,
we
I need to
voted,
think this.
yeah, oh man, Van.
Don't let me get started with Sabbath school.
Right, right. Like
Wait,
Van
that
can
one.
say that. Van. I'm with you, Van. I'm with you, Van. But like you said, like I was saying that when it comes to some departments, people take departments and they don't even know what they're taking it for, like what it means. And the issue, but here's the issue right now with what we're talking about. The issue with what we're talking about is this: is that you need people. So you have people who are like me, who will think about and create and just imagine something brand new. But the part that's missing are the people who can put it together
Right, because why?
and make it happen.
Why is it missing? Why is it missing? Because you have a lot of, this is just a general statement because it doesn't matter. Growing up in my church, you have the same people who have been who started what seems to be the foundation of the Adventist Church. They have been in these positions, in the very same positions, for how many years, right? And so after they've gotten that position, everybody is so accustomed to seeing them in that position. They're accustomed to seeing themselves in that position. And so when it's time for nominating committee comes up, no one wants to take that position because why? That person has been identified and it's almost like synonymous with that person who's been in there since Noah was a scout. And so what happens is it places those limitations on that position where you may have an idea to reimagine what can possibly happen, but it gets stifled. Why? Because you're trying to not compete, but you're trying to change the image of that department based on who occupied it since the beginning of time. And so I think even having people in positions for longer than 2 years is it just doesn't work, because I think it impedes the growth, right? It's no, there's no, if you're in the same thing, the same person is not going to grow, right? As much as if you were to have a cycle of people and have people reimagining it. But people get so stuck on these positions, in these positions, because this title somehow is like a badge of honor for me, right? I walk around with the biggest keys in the church and I feel as though I am the most important person in this church. And it does not work. It's not working.
Yep, because when people get a title, they feel entitled. But look, we have been going for a while, and it goes back to, I think, the beginning. It goes back to the model that we're trying to create. Because if you have a model that says every 4 years you graduate, or 4 years you're in this leadership, and understand that you don't get to hold on to something for too long.
Right.
Because why? You have a new crop that's coming in, a new crop that does not have a history with you, and that new crop is like, look, just give me what I need and move on, and that you move. So we really need to, and that's why even like, going back to, do we have to be here every week? Do you have to be on the stage every week? Do you have to be this? Can we, let's slow it down, because I see like this power is getting too much for your head. You need to be out in the community, humble thyself, and then come back, right? So, ultimately, I think that we need to just have a serious conversation, a think group, right? A brainstorming group to think about, what are we going to do? What's going to be different when we go back? Or do we need to go back to the way it was?
I think the majority of us do, but I like that idea of a think group, because I think a lot of times we spend a lot of time at the table just talking and not doing anything, right? So I like the idea of the think group, where you have a a collaboration of thinkers, people that are ready and about this change, about doing things differently, creating it and reimagining it, and then just action, just acting it out in their spaces, right? Because of course, it would be great if it can just be here in Texas. It would be great if it can be in Maryland or wherever. But if you just have a collaboration of thinkers who are like, yo, we need to redefine this thing called church, and this is what we are going to do to redefine it.
Yeah.
And then
and
act on it.
And just a little FYI, the word church was inserted into the scriptures later on, during the translation. The word in the Bible is koinonia, which means fellowship. So church, that word never really existed back in the first and second century. It was added after. So people knew what a fellowship was. They knew what it was like to fellowship. If you back then told somebody, hey, I'm going to a church, or hey, let's go to church, they would look at you real weird, and they'll be like, what do you mean go to a church? I am the church. They'll be like, you're going to a building? It's like me, Jamie, saying I'm going to Jamie. They identified themselves as the temple, but they got together for fellowship. So the whole building is a new phenomenon that was not synonymous with Christianity. It came later on, when the translation changed from fellowship to church. So Peter upon this rock, that I'm building my church on, it's more like I'm using you to build a brand new fellowship. I'm using you to build something new and innovative and creative, because the only people that had synagogues were the Romans and the Jews. Christians didn't have synagogues. When Constantine went into leadership, to rulership, and he was popularizing Christianity, he was like, we need to have buildings like the Jews, and we need to have buildings like the pagans. And so he changed the Sabbath to Sunday, and then he also created the synagogues, which look like the Roman basilica, right? You have the theater, the dome top, the people looking on the stage. And so those are the two changes that Constantine made. Like, we often talk about Constantine changing the Sabbath, but we don't talk about Constantine and his architectural advancements in giving Christianity a building to worship in. Because before that, they would worship in houses and things like that. But he wanted to make Christianity popular. So, if we're going back to the New Testament, when you read and look at it, you'll see. And even like in Revelation, those weren't like how we imagine the seven churches. They weren't churches, they were fellowships. And they were all like on a mail route. So when the messages were going out, they were all within vicinity of each other. They were all different fellowships that got together. But, I can stop talking now.
Nah, yo, you be Jamie be hitting us with the history, which is amazing because it gives context to what it is that we're doing. The average person doesn't even know that. So you just messed us up. I know you messed me up in terms of all it is that you just said.
Yeah. Yeah, they created their buildings to put their gods and worship. That's right. It's just like museums. Museums were created by wealthy people to show off their art. And so that's how museums started. And that's why they're always like endowed by rich people and stuff like that. Now they are, free for the public, but museums started as just these places where wealthy people can show off their art and what they do and things like that.
Wow.
But we gotta go. We did 2 hours today. We keep holding y'all longer. Y'all keep rocking with us. And we need to stop doing that. We need to keep it at 1 hour, keep it flat, keep it straight. But we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And we like having these conversations.
Yeah, I think I love having these conversations. Definitely some introspection happening, for sure, as moving forward when churches do open, but as well as really giving us some history, helping me to better understand this thing and to really take a deep dive into what we have, we really.
Okay, no, you go.
What we have, we have the right and we have the ability to control or to change. Right, it's our right to change these things and not to keep or stay in that routine of things. To change it up as we see fit. But at the end of the day, I think what matters most is our walk with God. Right, that walk with God that we have weekly, daily, and hopefully that it will bring us closer to God at the end of the day, because that's the point of church, right? That's the point of, I don't know if to call it church anymore. That's the point of us gathering, is to be closer to God. And so we hope that your thoughts have been provoked and you have begun to think or rethink, reimagine, and we just pray that you all have a wonderful week. This is Carlene.
And this is Jamie, and we signing out. Peace. I'll rap next week.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll rap next week.
So I brought my shades for nothing?
All right. Since you asked me to rap, what do you want me to rap about? Shades.
No, you're going to rap about all you.
Yeah, I'm going to rap about shade. Okay. All right. So real quick, 16 bars. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And the people started.
What does 16 bars mean?
We're going to do. You're gonna throw me off my little rap right now.
No, I just want to know what's three bars.
16 bars is like what a rapper raps.
What's a bar?
I went to the store. I did it before. So
that's a bar.
Yeah. So you do 16 bars and then you get to the chorus. So
why is 16 bars a number?
Because it's just 16.
I just want to know, what's the point? What's the history behind 16 bars opposed to 12 or 10 bars or 6 bars?
No.
Why does it have to be 16
because
bars?
If it's just 12 bars, then the hook and the whole thing, it throws it off. So we gotta do 16 bars.
So it's 16 plus a chorus.
I just want to rap.
I know, but I want to understand it. So it's 16 bars, then a hook, and then 16 bars again, and then a hook.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to go on Jay-Z's album, I can count 16 bars?
Sometimes.
I'm not understanding.
All right. This is killing me. In rap terminology, 16 bars is the amount of time that rappers are generally given to perform a guest verse on another artist's song.
Oh, that's a
One
guest
bar
verse.
is typically equal to 4 beats of music.
One bar is equal to 14 beats.
4 beats of music. So you have 4 beats of music, 4 bars for those four beats. So it's 4 times 4 is 16. And so I came through the door. I said it before. I never let the microphone da 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 boom. Next 4 bars done. So it's a rhythm, a syncopated rhythm. How many lines in 16 bars? 16 lines.
Mm-hmm.
So usually that's when the chorus comes in. But yo, I ain't got no time for all of that. And the people clap.
Thank you for that.
Yo. I'm sitting next to my wife and I'm really getting played. She's sitting there with a glass of lemonade and throwing much shade. But I ain't even gonna listen to that because it's a brand new day. Check what I'm saying, check what I'm delaying. Yo, I'm not playing. I'm getting the fader. Peace, take me out. I need some more food. Yo, where's my waiter? Make sure you serve up something hot, not something that just came out the pot. But make sure it's clean, make sure it's mean. I like my beef and I like it real lean. I'm new up on the scene. My wife's name is Carlene, but she ain't mean. Nah, I mean, I'm joining on the team. We gonna go far. Everybody knows that I'm a superstar. I'm kicking these bars 16 for sure. Or should I say for sure? Yo, I'm on tour. Going around the world, I told my fans I'm about to take my girl for a nice swirl. Here we go over to the continent, the motherland. You know you understand. Africa, my man, where my people are from. If you eat plantains, then you gotta get some. Cause I like them fried, I like them boiled, I like them even when I go outside and when I'm put them in foil. Yo, your face is throwing me off, but I gotta stay on track and hit the ball like I'm playing golf. Yo, Stoff, let me go even slower. Let me pick up the flower and show everybody that I'm holding this down. I'm preaching like my name was Noah. And then I gotta go a shower. I'm cutting these cats down like I was a lawnmower. I do the uhs in my rap because I don't know any more words. Here we go, Versa. Not Versa TV. Here where we go. What you trying to battle me? Nah, you can't rattle me, my G. I do this easily with my eyes closed, B. I got a sleep number, but I never slumber. I keep one eye open, watching for the newcomers, trying to get my spot. Y'all already know I'm smoking. That means I'm hot. You can't touch me. Don't even look at me. Don't even come near me. You smelling kind of musty. You need some degree. I'm talking about the deodorant because right now your odor is killing me and it's offending me. Peace. I get better every week. See that? People already quoting me. I got a sleep number, but I never slumber. Got one eye open. I'm looking for the newcomers. Come on, yo. Come on, yo. How you gonna say that's not dope? I got a sleep number. I never slumber. I keep one eye open looking for the newcomers. Cats is listening to me. They ain't getting smarter. They getting much dumber. Oh man. You trying to battle me, my G? Yo, that's a bummer. You lost. I'm coming in the summer with a brand new Hummer.
Oh.
Yo, I'm ill. I'm ill. I'm ill. Like, yo, let me tell you something. Every time I rap, I surprise myself. Like, yo, right for real? See, my wife is feeling me like, I be saying there like, how did I come up with that? How did I say that? Like, that was
Oh my gosh.
so,
Oh my gosh.
that was so creative. Yo, Carl, yes, send me some beats.
Oh no. No.
Send me
No
some
thank you.
beats. Yo,
No thank you.
send me beats because I'm just like, man,
Quentin is like he getting better.
exactly,
Oh,
Quentin.
oh
Exactly.
man.
The lemonade bar was dope.
Danae is like, that was more like 143 bars.
Okay, Danae.
144.
Danae, we about to go watch the
That was a
Chosen.
prophetic. That was a prophetic. I'm sorry, I'm snorting.
She over here snorting, y'all.
Oh my gosh. I think I like what Miguel was like. I need to get a face mask. Face mask next time. That's what I'm gonna wear.
I'm gonna put a blanket on your head.
I need a face mask
because you threw me off. You threw me off.
I threw you off.
Flowing.
I was over here in my own space trying to really
flowing. When I started talking about the plantains, I don't like complaining.
But how do you go from? I'm trying to.
Because
isn't rap supposed to, those 16 bars, aren't they supposed to connect because you're supposed to have a hook, right? So that hook is supposed to.
Well,
I don't understand.
Well, that's why you here, so you can give me the hook. I need a chorus.
I don't know what to hook.
All right, you start singing something and then I'll tell you.
No, that's not what the hook is. The hook is you.
You were supposed to
sing whatever it is that you are, whatever it is that you're rapping about. That's what the hook is supposed to be about.
I need you to do a hook about shade, and then I'll rap. It'll be dope, and I'll point to you when you do the hook about shade. So do this. Shade, don't wanna get played. Just gonna sip on my lemonade. Shade, do that. Yo, do that. Yo, that would be so dope. Where's my lemonade? I'm gonna throw some shade. Don't try to come in my face because it get played. Do that. All right, I'll do it.
What?
What I just did.
What did you just do?
Where's my glass of lemonade?
Shade. You keep adding, so I don't know what.
It's like this.
It's the after show.
Listen.
I'm just trying to understand. Okay, I'm done.
Shade. I don't want to get played.
Wait, let me get it. Shade. I don't want to get played.
Just give me my glass of lemonade.
Just give me my glass of lemonade.
All right, do that. Please do that.
Shade. Go give me my, what is it?
I don't want to get played.
Okay, here we go. I have to lower it. It's a little high.
It's high. It's too high. Yeah.
Shade. What is it?
Don't want to get played.
Okay. Shade. Don't want to get played.
Just
give me my lemonade.
No, glass of lemonade.
Just give me my glass of lemonade.
All right, do it one more time.
And I won't get scared.
No. You won't need the extra. I'm coming in right after you do the lemonade part.
I'm trying to help.
Just do that part, please.
Wait, let me practice again.
Shade.
It seems like you want to sing it. Oh gosh, I'm dying. Okay. Shade. Just give me my glass of lemonade. No? What is
Shade. Don't want to get played.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Shade. I don't want to get played. Just give me my lemonade.
Oh, you sound awful.
But that's the hook.
No, I'm going to do the hook.
Wait, let me do the hook.
Shade.
You keep going too high.
Shade.
Don't want to get played. I'm going to just sit here with my glass of lemonade.
All right,
I'm just going to sit here with my glass of lemonade.
No, you're not. That's cool. I like that. Do it one more time.
Shade. Don't want to get played. I just want to sit here with my
glass of lemonade. All right, let me rap. Do it one more time.
Okay. Shade. I don't want to get played. I just want to sit here with my glass of lemonade.
You're terrible, but here we go.
Okay, wait. I'm going to come now. I'm going to be for real. All right. Okay. No, don't. I don't want to be. I just want to do it on my own, okay? I can do this. Shade. No, that's too high. Shade. That's too low. Shade. I think that's good. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. Shade. I don't want to get played. I just want to sit here with my lemonade. I have to say it one more time. Shade. I don't want to get played. I'm gonna sit here with my lemonade.
Yo, 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 yo.
Shade. Oh, what happened?
I'm supposed to rap now.
Oh, I thought I'm singing the verse 3 times. 2?
Go ahead.
One more time?
Yeah.
Or not at all?
One more time, please. I'm trying to stay in the zone.
Okay, here we go. All right, for real now.
Mm-hmm.
Shade. I don't want to get played. Just let me sit here with my. I don't get that part. It doesn't really go.
All right, friends, we gotta go now.
No. Wait. It doesn't really go though on beat. In beat. Shay, I don't want to get played. I just want to sit here with my lemon, but it doesn't flow.
I can do it.
Okay, do it.
Shade, don't wanna get played. I'ma just sit here with my glass of lemonade.
Oh, I'ma just sit here with my. Okay, I didn't know that, but okay, I got it now. Okay, I'm for real right now. Okay. Shade, I'ma get paid. Wait,
Nah,
shade.
man.
I'm gonna sit here.
Nah, man. Yo, this show over, yo.
Okay, one more time. Can you do it with me?
Yo, cause people see you herbing me.
I'm not. Shade. I'ma just. What is it?
Thank you.
Thank
Come
you,
on, Kate.
Shade. I don't want to get played. I just want to sit here with my glass of lemonade. One more time.
Mm-hmm.
Shade. I don't want to get played. I'm going to just sit here with my lemonade.
Yo, Shade, people want to throw it. They don't really know it. You want to sip some lemonade? Go to Chick-fil-A it. Because I don't really want to go it or I want to flow with it. Because you are messing up my vibe. I don't got no time for people who just want to slubber over me like they was slime. Yo, it's time to get paid. Sitting in the glass with some lemonade.
Shade. I don't want to get played. I'm just going to sit here with my lemonade. Oh, shade. I don't want to get played. I'm just gonna sit here with my lemonade.
Yo, from the start, when I walked in the room, it got pretty dark. I said, I know what's going on here. They throwing some shade. Everybody got something to do, but they don't really want to say what they got to say. So I'm just going to speak my piece. And how I speak my piece is when I leave to the east, not in the Middle East. But I got a lot of hair grease. Know what I'm saying? Because I'm not playing. Yo, Jack, we are going on the same track. And that's why I said, Shade, you could keep that. If you want to drink lemonade, you could go to Chick-fil-A.
Shade.
Come on.
I'ma get played. I just wanna sit here with my lemonade. Shade. I don't wanna get played. I'm just gonna sit here with my lemonade.
Yo, it's the end of the day. And we gotta say, we ain't not here to come and play. We ain't come here for you to diss or to even try to dismiss.
Shade.
We came here to bring everybody up.
Shade.
The party's going up and we not slowing.
Shade.
Now we knowing where we going.
Shade.
We just keep on flowing and flowing.
Shade.
Don't throw your shade. Go to Lemonade.
Shade.
Go to Chick-fil-A or maybe even
Shade.
Wendy's and get yourself plenty of lemonade there. I don't even care if you want it on a Palmer. Throw some iced tea in there. You're going to be a goner. Because when I leave, I'm going up high to another sky because we're so fly. So you can keep your shade and your stinking lemonade.
Shade. I don't want to get played.
Come on, party people.
I'm gonna
Put your hands
sit
up
here
in the air.
with my lemonade.
Put your hands up.
Shade. I don't want to get played. I'm just gonna sit here with my lemonade.
Peace. And you
Shade.
messed up the chorus though. It wasn't
I
with
wanna
my
get
with my.
played. Can I just make it my own?
All right. Come through, Kate.
Shade.
All right.
Y'all, thank you guys for rocking with our crazies, our craziness. But yeah, that was fun. I'm gonna come back next week, and I'm gonna revamp that Shade song.
No, we're gonna be singing another song.
See, man, this is gonna be in my it's gonna be in my head too. All I'm gonna be thinking about is shade. I don't want to get played. I'm just gonna say, sing it louder, Caitlin. Oh, 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 oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's how it goes.
Shade.
Thank you. See what we said after? That's how it goes. All right, party people, we love y'all. This is Jamie and Carlene signing out. Peace.
Peace. Bye.